Hey traders and investors, it's Rod with Powell Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for a daily market recap. Today is a recap for Monday, April 5th. I hope everyone had a great Easter and a long weekend. I know I did, got lots of rest and looking forward to the week ahead. So in today's video, the topic of the day is going to be the Blackberry stock. So I'll go over a trade review that I mentioned in my previous video last week. We'll go over some news and events on the day, and we'll look at the broader market and some individual tickers as well. But before we do, smash the like, it shows me some support, and consider subscribing to the channel. So just before we get started as well, just to let everybody know, I am traveling at the moment, currently in Calgary, Alberta, likely going to be making my way west and just taking in all the scenery and potentially making my way into Kelowna and BC and just touring. Might go down to parts of the States as well, and benefits of being able to work anywhere there's an internet or a cell phone reception signal. So taking a look at some news and events, Dow futures surge on the blowout jobs report. So just all bulls today, and all-time high, gap up, and saw a little bit of profit taking into the day, but nothing too severe. Roy Blunt calls on Biden to slash massive infrastructure plan. That's a Republican senator, and requesting down to $615 billion. So getting some opposition there. Tesla shares jumped 7% after first quarter sales surge, so beat estimates. Stock was up and reacting very favorably. Air Canada drops Transat takeover after battle with Europe and antitrust probes and just some overall friction. So Transat was down about 20% today, so that absolutely got slammed. But I think the market strength was the reason why Air Canada was also holding on pretty well and was up over 3%. 4% at one point, so I think that can be attributed to the market strength this morning. The Supreme Court rules in Google's favor in copyright dispute with Oracle over Android software. Speaking of Google, they will stop using Oracle's finance software and adopt SAP instead. Also, Scotia urges against capital gains tax on primary residences. So for one, I sold my house about a year ago, and that was in Prince Edward Island. And the market was absolutely on fire. I almost made about 100% return on that property in less than 5 years. So I know for one, I would be opposed to that. I don't have any, I have a rental property at the moment, but there's even talks that the feds could be increasing the amount of capital gains on those types of properties as well, because you got to think with the whole crisis around the world and deficits and the governments being at, crazy record levels, they need to recoup that any way they can. So let me know in the comments below if you think they're actually going to follow through with that and whether or not you would agree. I highly, highly do not want them to see them do that. But I mean, that's just one way they're trying to cool down this runaway market, as we are seeing bubbles everywhere, not just in the stock market, but in the real estate sector as well. GameStop shares tank after it plans a $1 billion stock sale. So dilution news there. And crypto is just absolutely turning heads left, right, and center. Bitcoin coming up on 60,000 and potentially set up for an all-time high test this week. Ethereum comfortably over 2,000, sitting at 2103. And Litecoin getting a turn here as well, back over 200, tested 220, but pulling back here a bit now. Looking for a 15-minute higher low. And at this point, it's a 15-minute bull flag. XRP, so this will be the topic. Most topics covered today in the crypto space will be on XRP. XRP is now worth more than before the SEC lawsuit. Explain me that. How is this asset a scam, and how is it going to zero if it's now worth more than it was before the SEC lawsuit? So we were at 79 cents, I believe, before the lawsuit. Here we are, we hit 85 cents today, actually a high of 87 cents today. And if you were a doubter, if you had any doubt in the world, you absolutely have none now, because this is not going to zero. I've been telling people this, and it just made absolutely no sense from day one. And it just confirms that their whole SEC case had zero weight to it. And that's very evident in the price of XRP. So 17 cents to 87 cents in a couple of months. Congrats to the bulls, and thank you, Jay Clayton, for the cheap XRP. Let me know in the comments below where you think XRP's headed this potential bull cycle. I think it could be headed to about $10 easily this bull cycle by the end of 2021. So Bitcoin was starting daily consolidation. We saw a couple of days where we had that pattern break of a higher low every candle, and then we saw some significant daily consolidation. We did break to a lower low here at 56,873, but not much follow through. That didn't cut it. So then we knew to be cautious, and then we finally saw daily consolidation. We saw 2 days of consolidation, and we now have a new higher low established at 56,478, and we're looking right back up to the highs of 60,100 resistance. If we get over that, we're looking at an all-time high test potentially this week. So moving on, QQQ is getting fairly extended here at the moment. And same with SPY, but absolute monster move from the lows here. So SPY still hasn't changed its daily trend. So I added to my SPXS position, which is short the S&P 500, and just remaining protective as we haven't changed the daily trend and we have no support down to 383.90 on the daily. So we could drop from here about 5.5% and still be looking for a daily higher low. And we haven't changed that daily uptrend. We need to confirm that daily uptrend to be confident that our weekly higher lows are set. But EMA 12 on the weekly continues to be rock solid support. We haven't closed a candle below that since all the way back here at the beginning of November and the end of October. And you gotta wonder when we're gonna see monthly consolidation again. And it's likely not too far away. We're at the top of the monthly Bollinger Band here as well. And we have no monthly support down until 319.80. So just hedging those long-term positions. The dollar is still hanging out here as well. Quite impressive, to be honest with you, with the strength in crypto and stocks. Metals were a little bit weaker today, but DXY is still holding its own. Daily consolidation is still underway, but holding up really well, trying to get back above EMA 12 and looking for a higher low compared to 91.30. Oil was weak today. It's down almost 2.5%. So again, metals were a bit weaker today as well. We could be seeing the daily lower highs on these bounces being set. And we need to lose the 4-hour uptrend to be confident. And XLE was weak today. Pretty much all other sectors were green, up about 1% or 0.5% respectively. At XLE, not surprising to see some weakness in daily consolidation with the weakness in oil. So Blackberry, we're going to look at some individual tickers here. So before we do, I'll just look at some bull and bear list here. So on the bear list, we had NKLA, DFLY, and VEGA. On the bull list, we had AMC, Riot, Blackberry, and Google. So we'll go over Blackberry today and a trade review. So I mentioned this in my video last week, and we'll talk about how high we could go this time around. And Blackberry, we know it's going to bounce here. We got a weekly inside bar on watch. We've been waiting for it. We had a pretty decent bounce here from 882 all the way up to 1252. But ultimately, we broke to a new lower low and confirmed a weekly downtrend. But I'll show you the trade that I was looking at. So from a couple of days ago last week, we had that earnings reaction and we dropped down. We had 836, the low of that pre-market reaction. And what I entered off of was the 200 weekly moving average was down at 833. And look where we bounced off of perfectly off of that 200 weekly moving average. We hit a low of 836. We had support at 833. We also have a bull cross of the 50 and the 100 weekly moving average. And that gave me enough confidence. I set my stop under that. So I set it underneath $8 initially. And I was going to risk about 30 to 40 cents. And that ended up yielding a nice trade, right? So playing off of that weekly support. And then once we saw the strength from this morning, I upped my stop loss to my buy or stop level at break even. So I set it at 840, I think is what I filled at. And then I set it at 840, and then all day today, we never lost that, and I never got stopped out. And it was essentially a free trade and was up about 10% from those lows. So if we just take a quick look, we were up about 12%. So congrats to the bulls, but keep in mind, we're still in a daily downtrend. And bulls want to see a big of a bounce on the daily. We have no real resistance up until 1252. So how high could we go this bounce? We could probably see another 20, 30% before we hit resistance. But again, no daily trend change yet. We're still in a daily downtrend, so we'll be watching for the hourly uptrend as the most important. If we lose that hourly uptrend, then our daily lower high is likely set at that point, and we'll scout a daily high or low and a potential trend change attempt. We had a bull cross there of EMA 12 and 26 into the end of the day, and we had a fairly bullish close near the high of the day, and we've yet to even test EMA 12, which is at 957. But my target, I exited my position today as my target was the gap fill here from the earnings reaction. So the gap fill is at 929, I believe. Zooming in here on the hourly. See at 929, what was the high of the day today? We hit 934. So I locked that in. My target was that gap fill on this entry off the 200 weekly moving average. And I will likely wait for an hourly high or low and potential 5-minute oversold conditions before I enter again. So once again, congrats to the Blackberry Bulls. And this is something that I shouted out to our community, and I know a lot of people followed me on that trade as well. So congrats to those who were able to turn a profit. So thanks for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth for a daily market recap. It's Rod. Hope you have a fantastic day and week ahead. Make sure to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. It always shows me some support, and I always appreciate that very much. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you a little bit later on for a daily market recap on the cannabis sector.